I want to mention quickly Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3. So, I'm a gamer. I play video games. But I never heard of Baldur's Gate. I know. Yeah, you can throw rocks at me now. I'm sorry. I never heard of Baldur's Gate until a couple of weeks ago, before the game was about to be released. Maybe like a month or two before the game was supposed to be released. I never heard of Baldur's Gate. I never played Baldur's Gate. My experience with... No, it's not... No, it can't even that. Like, I had no idea what kind of game Baldur's Gate is. And people say, oh, Baldur's Gate is going to be amazing. It's going to be one of the best games out there. Like, I'm like, I never heard of Baldur's Gate, you know. And I'm like, wow, what are you talking about? I never heard of that game. And then as soon as the game releases, you see like almost 1 million daily concurrent players. I'm like, what the hell? And I googled the game. I learned about the game. I realized what kind of game is it. It's like Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons inspired type of game. And apparently the first two games were made by BioWare. I don't know who's the developer now. It's a different developer for the third game. And apparently the game was in early access for a really long time. And it's finally officially released for everyone. And I am mesmerized. I am really mesmerized that this exists. And it shows that there's a big appetite for these type of games, because from what I've seen, the options, you know, the decision making, all that kind of stuff that you can do in the game, and you know, make your own story and so on. That's fascinating. That's basically the ultimate video game that any gamer wants. You know, you create your own story, and you know, and things can happen, and no one has the same playthrough as everyone else, and that's amazing. So yeah, it's kind of bad of me that I never knew of Baldur's Gate, but I'm glad I learned something. And will I play the game? Probably not, just because it's not my type of game. Yes, I did play MMO. I know it's not MMO, but I used to play MMOs like RuneScape and well, basically RuneScape. And single player games in general, for me, I'm really picky with them. Ray knows, because I did mention on the podcast before. Single player games are really picky. Like, I'm not really into single player games because I'm not that type of person. Like, for me to play a single player game, I really need to commit, and I know that I'm gonna enjoy that single player game. So, case in point, Witcher 3, or Jedi Survivor, or Fallen Jedi Order. That's how the first was called. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, that's the one. And Jedi Survivor, like I haven't finished that Jedi Survivor just because I kind of lost interest halfway. Just like, you know what? It's fine. I had my fun. It's so like, okay. Yeah, I'm a competitive person. I'm really into like multiplayer games. For me, multiplayer games are more interesting than single player games, because I don't know, something about competing. You know, doesn't matter if the game is very casual or not. I just want to, you know, play against other players, because that's always been my thing, my whole gaming life. I always want to play against real life players, you know. That's why I really enjoy, you know, sports like, you know, football, well, soccer, FIFA, or any other sport, because or like, you know, Call of Duty and Battlefield. The reason why these games are my favorites, you know, in my whole life, is because I really enjoy playing against real life players. It's just something about it. I love to compete. That's kind of it. So Baldur's Gate 3 looks a fun game. Looks like I saw this clip of someone playing Baldur's Gate 3, and there was a squirrel in front of him, and he rolled the dice, and he kicked the squirrel, like just he kicks it, like full on kicks it, and the squirrel lands like on a rock, and it just blood splashes everywhere, and I'm like, oh, so this is Baldur's Gate 3. Interesting. But it's Dungeons and Dragons, I guess, type of thing, so kind of makes sense, I guess. Well, I played Probably not, but I'm glad people are enjoying the game because it's really awesome to have different games be in the gaming, market, and just people enjoy their lives and enjoy video games. That's a great thing.